Okay, welcome to the call, Sport Performance Secrets, and we are here to help you to commit in excellence in the exploration of the new alternatives in this sport you practice. We are stepping into everything to help all the athletes to get close to the medals. And we have today Eileen Forte. Eileen is a specialist in Paleo. It's a special diet. You will hear about that. Who I am? I'm Coach Al. I coach gymnastics for more than 40 years, and I been since the beginning to the Olympic level. I have several world champions, and I did a lot of things with gymnastics and any other sports too. I learned hypnosis at the age of 16, and I beat obesity, I beat ADD, and I was so excited to learn how the mind works and how powerful the mind is. At the same time, at 46 years old, I beat cancer with the power of my mind. And I helping other people to beat the cancer too. And today call, we have Eileen Forte. And I'm so excited because this is something special for us. And let me tell you, I have a quote right here for Matt Bundy. He was a swimmer. And he says, persistence can change the failure into extraordinary achievement. And another aspect, I need to tell you some story. Then you will understand really good the context of this one. Miners was in Germany. Probably you hear that news a year ago, something like that, when the mine just fall off. And the miners was talking and waiting for the rescue crew to come to rescue them. They don't have lights, they don't have nothing, but just one person has one clock, one wrist clock. And the moment they start to ask him, can you tell us every hour, because we know we have life for only a couple days, it's 6 days. They can breathe, they can eat, they can survive. And every hour, this guy need to do a warning sign. When he started working that, every hour he was saying the signal. At the end, I will tell you the end of this story, because first we need to go to Eileen. And let me tell you who is Eileen. Eileen began the Paleo 5 years ago. She was close to 200 pounds, and she's 5'8", and she was a little bit depressed and have a lot of problems. And she find out that nothing is better than the nutrition. And I was in this moment, now she's a specialist in this aspect. Is a specialist in the Paleo, and she will be explaining to us all the aspects of how you could, as an athlete, can be benefit for all these science of nutrition. Hello, Eileen. How are you?
Hi, Al. Thank you so much for inviting me. I am so excited to be here today and to share my passion about paleo with you and your listeners.
I'm very happy to have you here. I know you are a very specialist. You know everything about this subject, and it's not very popular. But let me explain to the audience first. We have two things to cover before we start to talk with you. The number one, she's Eileen. It will tell us everything about the paleo. But you know, first of all, in order you to get the best from Eileen Cole, you need to go into the browser and be in the Eileen's website, and then just type in the address box. Be sure in the address box you do that. It's www.sportperformancesecrets.com-paleo. It's PALEO, and you are right there. You will know that you are right there because you will see a lean picture. When you see a lean picture, it's because you're on the correct page. Very good. And Another thing we need to start to tell you then, the Eileen have a special gift for you at the end of the call. When you have that opportunity to listen everything what she's doing, she will give you a gift. She will give you something to start understand and start to experience what is paleo. And this free gift, she will tell you in a couple more minutes, is something really special. And Eileen, I'm so excited to have you here. Can you tell us what means paleo?
Well, thank you again for having me. And yes, paleo is actually, it's called the paleo diet, but truly it's a lifestyle. It's a diet just means what we eat daily to live, but following a paleo lifestyle is what we do when we say we're following a paleo diet. Because what that incorporates, Al, is more than eating. It incorporates exercise, which all of your listeners are passionate about, and it also incorporates sleep. But it's not necessarily a diet that's about weight loss. It's a diet that's about optimal health. And it's a diet that promotes the reduction of inflammation in the body. And we do that through the foods we eat and the foods we avoid. It's really a very simple lifestyle to follow, but the benefits of it are amazing.
Perfect. It's excellent. Now, let me ask you one thing. How do you get involved in all these ones? How do you get in touch with the paleo diet, and what motivates you to be learning everything about this one?
That's a great question, Al. Really, for me, the journey began 7 years ago when I was overweight, and for me, that was something that was unusual. And my activity level had dropped. I was becoming depressed and felt that this is not where I wanted to be in life. And my daughter put a copy of the Dr. Lauren Cordain's book called The Paleo Diet on my coffee table, where it sat for a while before I picked it up. But I knew through the fact that, number one, I taught cooking for a living, I knew that certain other diets were not for me. They weren't diets that promoted health, they just promoted weight loss. I was looking for something that was going to increase my energy level, something that was going to make me feel good, and also in the process give me optimal health, which for me at that time meant losing weight. But it doesn't mean that people who are fit will lose weight on the paleo diet. The way what you choose to eat is very much specific to where you are in this journey. So I started to follow, I read about it. I couldn't believe a lot of the things I was reading because it was against mainstream thinking. But I started researching and I started looking in detail as to what Dr. Cordain was saying, and I started my own research as well, and I started my website, which is thepaleosimplified.com, where I blog my findings. And I found that the results were incredible. Starting with energy, the weight basically fell off, but I received so much more benefit. The aches and pains were going away. The clarity of mind was present. Sleep was better. There was just so many benefits. I would probably spend the rest of our time just telling you. So suffice it to say, it was a great experiment with great results. And the way I got started is because people were seeing those results in me and wanted to know how I did it. And so Paleo Simplified was born.
Excellent. Very good idea. And let me explain one thing. Athletes face all the time two problems. One, energy to practice, and the other one is how to recover from practice. That speed of recovering will help them to practice better the next day, and at the same time to avoid injuries. And how you can help us, how this paleo can help us to do that, to increase the level of energy and avoid some injuries.
That's a great question. And I have to start answering by saying that each sport will bring its own set of conditions in terms of what is required to eat. What I mean by that is the athlete who is in for endurance will have a different dietary requirement than the person who's running sprints. So what they eat will vary. Also, it varies on an individual basis as to what foods will perform best for each athlete. But there's a few key points that works for everyone. So what you eat the day before or the week before you have an event is very much triggered by the foods you eat, how well you will perform. And then also, and you hit something very, very key, Al, is what you eat after. The 30-minute window is crucial when you're done with your event, because the sooner you start replenishing those proteins, the sooner you replenish those carbs and branched-chain amino acids, as soon as you start replacing your energy, what we call glycogen stores, as soon as that starts to begin, the faster you recover and the better you'll be able to start practicing again and getting on with your routine so you can keep improving. So it's really very important what you eat before and after an event, but something I want to make very clear is that it's what you do all of the time that matters, not the week before, not the moments after. Those are important elements to be sure. But following a paleo lifestyle, as a matter of fact, in Paleo magazine, which your viewers can pick up right now, on the cover is Dante Rosario, and he is a football player for the Chicago Bears. He is a huge advocate of paleo and does a wonderful job explaining his journey and why it's so important and how it's impacted his career and his athletic ability. The key is to reduce inflammation. So think about your athletes coming to an event where their bodies are not inflamed and the muscles can work and perform better, where their energy level is absolutely increased and not just a small amount. So when you're eating these foods that promote the reduction of inflammation and avoiding certain foods that cause inflammation, and on top of that, putting together food that will increase their energy, it's a win-win no matter how you look at it.
Yes, you are totally right. And, you know, it's very important for us to educate a little bit our kids or new generations about nutrition, especially because they think eat is just put something in the mouth and then start to enjoy it. You know, the elite athlete work use the food to have sources of energy to work better and to perform better. And usually every kid, they are trained just to enjoy food. And the parents don't teach the kids to enjoy the natural food. And it's hard for us to introduce our kids into that paleo diet, or is a little bit how can I ask you, our audience mostly are teenagers and they are used to the flavor of sugar and salt.
Yes.
It's hard a little bit for them to get into the paleo?
It's, you know, for anyone, Al, who's coming to the paleo diet, it's going to be a change in lifestyle. But there's something very important to remember here, that eating the way we're currently eating in our world is producing a group of people who are unhealthy or overweight or suffering with ailments that they needn't be suffering with. On top of that, for your athletes, what they're doing is not getting optimal what they would want is optimal performance. People think that following a paleo diet means that food doesn't have to taste good. It tastes great. It tastes the way food's supposed to taste. It is what it is relearning what those better choices are for us. It means learning to not necessarily get the quick fix meal off the shelf where preparation is involved, but for not only the athletes, but for their families and children and their parents and anyone, it's something that they'll all benefit from. And it's just a matter of relearning to make different choices. They can still enjoy their food. There's just foods that offer great benefits and foods that really do harm, like the grains, and you learn to avoid them. But there's many, many foods that we can choose that will allow us to still enjoy our meals, to still feel fulfilled when we eat, and be healthy.
Excellent. That's what I want to know, because you know, the kids enjoy meals. And let me explain you what happened at one national championship like 3 or 4 years ago in gymnastics, especially the sport I do. We was in the nationals, and 60 girls waiting with crunches and some kind of injuries, waiting for seeing competing the 20 only healthy girls in nationals. I interview mostly of them because I want to know why. What happened? Because if it's a technical problem, I will talk with the coaches and we can avoid some problems. No, the majority was just eating fast food.
Right.
And the athletes who was inside healthy, they have some issues too because it's a dangerous sport, but they regenerate fast everything because they was healthy food intakes all the time. And now let me ask you actually one more thing. This diet has a lot of variety, or it's just a small amount of things around this diet? Can you explain something like that? What kind of foods?
What foods you would eat? You know,
Yes.
that's a great question, and it's really the reason my company is called Paleo Simplified is because a lot of people make it more complicated than it really needs to be. But if you were to sit down and have a roast chicken and some great vegetables and a sweet potato and a salad for dinner and a nice piece of watermelon for dessert, would you ever feel that you're missing something? The answer is no. But what you didn't have in there was what they are getting when they're eating those fast foods, which number one is a terrible glycemic response. And nothing will stop you quicker in your tracks. Nothing will make you bunk, as the word what athletes use when they just bunk. Cyclists say, you know, you run out of steam, you crash and burn. Nothing will make you do that quicker than a glycemic smack. And so part of following a paleo diet is eating the foods that keep your glycemic level equal throughout the day as best as we can. And it's really easy. You still eat all your proteins. You still eat, you know, wonderful vegetables, sweet potatoes, bananas, fruits, anything that's a whole food, as long as it's not a grain. Basically, on the paleo diet, we do not eat, or we avoid eating things that contain gluten, like your bread and your pasta, or your rice and corn. Those are all grain. And we don't eat dairy, your milk, because unfortunately the way the dairy is treated in our country, they're fed foods that are not healthy for the body. That's just an easy way to look at it. But the world is open as to spices and foods and options that you have. You just have to be reconditioned on what to choose.
Excellent. Well, Eileen, you know that I work with ADDs because it's my passion, because I was an ADD. And I started to see that they need to change totally the nutrition, and they change the biology, at the cellular level, all the problems they have. And I think your diet will help a lot all the kids, because before, when I started to just put attention to the ADDs, we was like a 6 to 8%. That was 25 years ago. Now we're the 40% of the kids in the whole nation has ADD. And now, can you explain how it affect the performance of what ADD, or how can be better for them if they stick to one diet like this?
Absolutely, and now you're touching on something that's very dear to my heart. And because I have worked with children who were ADD, and I have worked with autistic children, and one of the biggest culprits of that, I'm sorry to say, are those fast foods. The things they're getting at the place with the arches, or things off the shelf that are ready to eat. They're filled with chemicals. They're filled with artificial colors, which is a big culprit in your ADD. And it's filled with artificial ingredients and sugars and all kinds of things that we avoid on a paleo diet. I think one of the things I'd love to share, and I don't think she would mind, is one of my very own employees who came to me when she started working here just a couple of months ago because her son, who is 4, was having difficulty concentrating in school. And the teacher wanted to have him tested to see if he was ADD. And before she went through that whole process, I spoke to her about choosing different foods for her son to take along to school and giving him different options at home as to what he can eat. After 3 weeks, Al, her teacher was waiting for her outside and said, "What have you done with your son?" And she said, "Excuse me," because she didn't even know what she was referring to. And she said, "Oh my goodness, the response in him has been incredible. I really need to know what you're doing." And she said, "Well, I've just changed his food. We're following a paleo diet now. I'm not giving him gluten or dairy at home, and I'm not giving him that in his snack." And the teacher said she was amazed at the response so quickly, so much so that she was going to incorporate that at home in her home with her children. And after 2 months, there were changes in attention, in the reading level, the skills, the communication that was taking place was so impactful that now they're talking about bringing actually me into the school to teach the teachers and parents to incorporate that lifestyle because they've seen such amazing results with their children and their home, and a few students whose parents have also opted to try out this lifestyle. And it is amazing and gratifying to see the results that I've seen through my own. I worked with a wonderful, wonderful woman who was autistic, who was overweight, and wasn't functioning as well as she could be. And if you fast forward after her following a paleo diet, I have to tell you, Al, she is living on her own and holding down a job. And we've done nothing except change what she's eating. It's amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah,
and
it
she's
is.
an athlete now.
Excellent. I'm so excited about that one because I know by fact that with one kid born with certain disadvantage, they need to do certain sacrifices. But this diet is not a sacrifice. This diet is just teaching you mind, teaching you flavor, to your sentence to go over there and enjoy it. I think it's just a process. It's not a sacrifice like taking medicines, taking medications, all that kind of things. This diet really can be enjoyed by everyone. What do you see in the people you train, who they love it after how long time? Like, they start to enjoy it after a while?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I had lost the audio on that for a second. You bring up two very good points, and I'd love to address that very quickly. Very often, if not most often, in our society, the first course of action for doctors would be to prescribe a medication for a child with ADD or some other ailment. And those medications have other side effects. And I don't believe that it treats the symptoms, but not the problem. The problem's going to stem from what they're eating. And to answer your question, they start feeling effects immediately. I can give you a great, well, myself for a great example. I remember when I first started, it was pretty late and I was vacuuming, and my husband came in and he said, "What are you doing?" I had so much energy. I was thrilled. I've started to live my life again. I've started, people who I've helped told me, you know, they come home from work and they just conk out and sit on the TV and watch, you know, sit on the couch and watch TV, and all of a sudden now they have their life back. And people who are athletes, I have several friends who own their own CrossFit gym, and and we know that CrossFitters as a whole very much follow a paleo lifestyle. There's a reason for that. The performance is there, the effects are there, the health is there, and the response is almost immediate. I would say after 3 to 4 weeks following a paleo lifestyle, which really is not a denial thing, but just changing what we choose to eat, the bloat goes away, the energy comes, the sleep gets better, the clarity of mind gets better, and it's true for 100% of people I've helped. And I've helped a lot of people, and I can tell you that I've had 100% success rate for those who follow the diet. It's that easy, and they love it.
Excellent. Now, let me say a little bit, make a little bit of break right here. We are close to, because some of the kids or some of the coaches, they just join it right now. And then don't worry, I will repeat what I said earlier. And if you are not still in the Eileen's audience dashboard page, it's time to do it now. And just go to the address box in your web browser, and then type in the address www.sportperformancesecrets.com/paleo, PALEO, and you will know you're right there because you will see the picture of Eileen. It's very important for us to use that area. There's several things you can do over there. Number one, you can go to the Eileen's questions. We have a box at the bottom, and then use it. Send us all the information you want. Send us everything, right? All the questions you want, because we want to be communicate with you. We want to be right there. And friends, Eileen has a free gift for you. It's something really special for every one of the athletes and the coaches who are listening to this interview. Eileen prepares something really special. It's as a thank you for being in this Paleo Simplified Pocket Guide. It's in a PDF, and you will hear over there everything what is about this system and this diet. And just in a moment, she will tell you more about that. And can you describe what is in this part of the gift or the people will get?
Absolutely. I created it actually for your listeners, and the funny thing is I put it up to make it available so when they're ready to download it, they can have access to it, but I can tell you it's already being downloaded like crazy from people who have happened across it. It's a great little guide, and what it will do is just very concisely tell you what is a paleo diet, why you follow it, what foods we recommend, what supplements are recommended on a paleo diet, and what to do next. How do you follow it? Okay, you've got this information. Now what do you do with it? And all of that is put very succinctly in the pocket guide.
Very good, very good. That's excellent for us. It's excellent for our kids and the coaches who are listening to this special interview. Now, it's very important for me to guide you to do this one. Go to in this page you are with Eileen. Go to the special offer button. Right there. This is a big one. You cannot miss it. It's orange. It's big. And then click right there. You will know you are right there because when you see the words special offer followed by the words Eileen Forte Paleo Simplified Package. Yes, you are right. You are right there. And On this page, you can read all about exclusive special offer, a special offer Eileen put together for you. And now, Eileen, your package is called Eileen Forte's Paleo Simplified package. In 2 or 3 sentences, can you tell us, can you explain us what it contains inside?
You're talking about the opt-in for them other than the pocket guide, is that correct, Al?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that one I'm so excited about because really a lot of thought went into that package. This is what I coach a lot of people on the paleo diet, and I teach quite a bit as well, but what always comes to me at the end of that is, okay, I get it. I'm on board. I want to follow the paleo diet. I'm all in. I understand everything you've said. What do I do? It's not something that you just say, okay, today I'm paleo. You need to prepare. You need to do things like clean out your pantry and make way for the foods and have them ready that you're going to want to eat. Recipe ideas. There's a whole lot of information on steps that you will take 7 days. It's a 7-day guide to get ready, what I call to live the best and rest of your life. And that's what I put in this 7-day guide. In addition to that, you're going to get a CD of a 1-hour lesson that I've given to the Natural Products Association, and this is to people, retailers that will be that sell my products in their stores. And I taught them all about the paleo diet in depth. There's doctors in there, nutritionists in there, and that's what I'm giving to your listeners as that's what's in the package for your listeners. And in addition to that, there's some videos and downloads that will help them on their way.
Perfect. Then they will get 7 days online course. 7 days of what to do, what to eat, how to do it, an MP3, and an MP3. They can listen for an hour, all your knowledge. That's excellent. And if you want to take advantage of this special offer, it's time to do it now. It's very easy. Just go on the bottom and put add to the cart. And you will find then this is something really special for you, because if you are really athlete who want to achieve the best performance, I guarantee you, Paleo will help you. And who will help you really, really good to you and all your family. You will see how the problems start to disappear from your family when you start to eat correctly. And remember, in a moment, Eileen is sharing how to get that gift, that special gift you will get from Eileen. And I have one quote here. Albert Einstein was, everybody knows him, big scientific, and he has a lot of quotes. I like to read his quotes, and he says, only those who attempt the absurd can achieve the impossible. Yes. This is something he always have in mind. And now let me ask you, because now we need to talk about coaches, how the coaches, we can help our kids. The coaches need to educate themselves in order to teach the kids. And I recommend all my friends, coaches, always the nutrition, the breathing, everything. But in this case, it's very important for you to explain to the coaches how easy it is to get in here. And all the benefits they can get from this paleo diet will help them to be better coaches. That's why it's important for you. Can you tell us now how much food they can intake in order to be in this diet?
Okay. There's a couple of ways to address that, Al. But first of all, I'm a big fan of Albert Einstein as well. And so one of the quotes I always, when I teach, give from Albert Einstein, he said, the kind of thinking that got us into the situation we're in is not the kind of thinking that will get us out. And if your coaches are expecting incredible results from their athletes, then they have to give them incredible information for them to utilize and grow so that they can perform. It begins really at the coach. He's the one who's going to promote that lifestyle, or she. They're the one that is going to say, okay, this is what we recommend for you to follow. And for the amount, to answer your question, it will vary with different people, with the way they utilize food. We basically eat until we're full. You are never hungry on a paleo diet. One of the things I can mention to you is there's a friend of mine, her name is Nell Stevenson, and she also has a website called Paleoista. And the thing that's remarkable about Nell, and she's been on TV shows and a big proponent of the paleo diet and has studied with Dr. Cordain, is that Nell is an Ironman winner many times over. She outperforms for her age and for her ability, and she is a huge advocate and follower of the paleo diet. And Ironman is no easy task, let me tell you. She competes in Hawaii and all over the country, and I don't know if she goes globally, but she's amazing, and her success has been really a great banner for the paleo lifestyle. There's a lot of Olympians who are paleo. There's a lot of athletes like Dante Rosario who follows a paleo lifestyle. And it's just an incredible thing. But it begins with the coaches being educated and knowing how to promote wellness, because it's not just about performance. It's about their health. It's about their attitude. It's about their sleep. It's about their mind and how they incorporate this lifestyle for success. And that's what they can bring to the table.
Perfect. Wow, amazing. Now let me tell you, the coach, in the moment they start to eat and they start to experience that energy and that flavors of nature, they can be more able to teach the kids or encourage the kids to do it right and to get into the paleo. And then I recommend all the coaches, try this one. It's nothing hard. It's so beautiful because you will transform your athletes and you will transform yourself. Even if you have a kids in your family, if you follow up with these 7 days and that city will help tremendously, because you will see your kids will be better in the school, better everywhere. Now, one more thing is very important. When somebody gets injured, and we need to accelerate the fastest possible any recovery from the athletes. And do you think, because you mentioned it's no inflammation, the diet of no inflammation, and then that helps to heal faster because you don't see that inflammation into the body.
Correct.
And what do you recommend for the kids or the athletes who get into this period of recovery?
I love that question, Al. So I want to address a few things where it begins with the coach, even at the level where they're practicing. What these kids are drinking during a workout. Many kids are looking to replace electrolytes or drink that orange stuff or have drinks. You'll see, a lot of sodas and things. On a paleo diet, we won't promote that. And we eat foods that are whole foods, that are low in sugar. And that will really promote optimal performance. But as far as inflammation is concerned, I can give the best example I can give you quite a few actually, but the people that I've worked with who were suffering with arthritis or ailments that they have, who began to follow the paleo diet, my clients who I've coached, I have a wonderful gentleman in New York who was diagnosed with arthritis when he was 14. And unfortunately, we're seeing more and more of that, or people who are suffering with MS. And I can tell you that I have seen amazing strides. As a matter of fact, he has an article we put on the on my website, where he talks about his paleo journey and how for the first time in his life, after being on paleo for a year, he's pain-free in his 40s. That's an amazing testimony. Or people who I've had clients, I have 4 clients who have had asthma, who no longer suffer with asthma symptoms. To me, that's incredible. These are autoimmune inflammatory responses in the body. But the best one is my own personal one, very quickly, where a couple of months ago, believe it or not, I hate to say it, I was in a car accident, and it was a pretty good hit, and I immediately had to go to the doctor to get checked. I was very shaken, and he said to me, and these are his words, he said, "My goodness, if it had been anyone else, they would have had such serious trauma to the body. But because I, meaning me, am so non-inflamed, because my muscles responded so well, I actually avoided tremendous, what could have been potential injury. And it had to do with the health and well-being of my body. And if there was ever a reason that I was so grateful that I was living this lifestyle, that was definitely one of them." And I've seen it over and over and over, where people who, you are just more fit, your body responds better, you avoid more injury when your body is performing the way it should be. And the converse is true. It's where if you are inflamed, you are going to open yourself up to more injury and more harm to the body. It's just such an amazing way to live, and the proof is right there in all the testimonies I see on a daily basis. Whether it's an immune disease, Crohn's disease, diabetes, heart disease, inflammation, injury, and the list is endless. And the proof is there, Al. Just look at these people responding. It's very fulfilling what I do.
Yeah, you're right. And now at this moment, it's very important for us to go to the Eileen's page, and you need to write it down. It's www.sportperformancesecrets.com/paleo. You know, you are in that special offer part. I want you to think about one special thing. And when you are taking care of what you're doing, that will help you to achieve anything. And in this special offer, Eileen is giving.
So, Al, to answer your question about the special offer, I'm really excited about it because I go into great detail as to what it means to follow a paleo diet in detail. So you get the skill set of what you need to know what a grain is and why we don't eat it. And I talk about inflammation. I talk about glycemic index. I talk about what it means to follow a diet and what foods you could eat. And really things like grass-fed beef, whole food. We talk about all of that on that video that they're going to get when they opt into the package offering that we have. I'm so proud of that. It actually was months in the working to get that to a place where I felt people could really benefit from learn what they need to learn so that they can in fact live and follow a paleo lifestyle. That actually the CD that they're getting went out to 400 people that were professionals, and it's got great detail in depth where they can learn really what it means, why, because there's lots of reasons why we don't eat a grain. Of course, the glycemic index is one of them, the sugar response. It's very interesting. It's one of the things I teach is that I give a quiz as to which is the best and which is the worst. So we talk about 2 slices of white bread, 2 slices of wheat bread, and a Snickers bar. And I ask which is the healthiest and which is the most unhealthy in terms of a glycemic response. And people are very surprised to find out that the Snickers bar was actually the best of the choices. And they get a kick out of that. But I always tell them it doesn't mean you should have 2 eggs over easy with a Snickers bar. So that's one of the things that's offered in there. And we talk about diabetes, we talk about conditions that people are dealing with today that can be avoided by following the paleo lifestyle. So there's a great deal of information in that packet, and I'm very proud of it. Following a paleo lifestyle is not as difficult as people would imagine that it would be. And you asked me a great question, how coaches can help their children or students or the people they're coaching to follow a paleo lifestyle. And I have to tell you honestly, for me, I think it's more of a responsibility for them to take that on. These children will learn from their coaches' habits not only for now, but for the rest of their lives. And to have that kind of impact is such a monumental responsibility and privilege that I think they owe it to the kids to incorporate that in their routines. So we seem to have lost Al a little bit here. If you have any questions that I can answer for you, please feel free to ask away, to post them. One of the questions I get asked very often is, I'm trying to see if I can get Al back for us here. So he seems to be missing in action here for the video. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to teach you, since I've got a live audience and you get me. So that's a great thing. And what does it mean to follow a paleo lifestyle and why? The first thing has to do with grains. We avoid them. They cause a really horrific glycemic response in the body, and the insulin gets released and it comes down, and it gets released and it comes down, and that's that yo-yo of that creates that crash and burn that creates insulin resistance in the body, and also, of course, inflammation. Another reason has to do with the phytic acid in the body. Grains are very high, not in the body, in the grain. Grains are very high in phytic acid. A common name for that is anti-nutrient. And what that does is the phytic acid will actually bind with nutrients, your iron and your magnesium and your zinc, all very important things that our bodies need, and we become deficient in them, and that's also a problem where injury and inflammation occurs. So there's lots of reasons why we don't eat grain on a paleo diet. So Al is still missing here, and I'm going to take a moment to see if I can reach him, so please, I think he's back. Hopefully he's back. And there he is. Okay, he's back there. So you had a little lesson on paleo while Al was coming back on board with us. And let me just see if we can get him back there. So we avoid grain, like I said.
All right.
Okay, we're back, and
yes.
Al lost us for a minute there, but Al, they got a great lesson on what it means to follow a paleo diet and why we avoid grains while you were reconnecting.
Perfect. That's excellent for our audience, for our kids, for the coaches who are listening to this one. And let me ask you one thing. Can you tell us some experience you have about some people who has some some kind of problems, and they just follow up the diet really strongly and 100%. Like you said, you mentioned one time, 80% of the time you're 100%. Uh, that's amazing. That's excellent. And tell us about some cases like that. Because first, let me remind all the kids, all the coaches, that the page, your page is the www.sportperformancesecrets.com/paleo. And now it's time to go to get this special offer. It's 50% off. It's a special 7 days follow-up, step by step, all the MP3, and everything is needed for you to be successful in this diet. For me, it's important for the coaches to encourage kids to be better athletes. Not just with the technique, it's with the diet, with what they think. It's very important what they think. And now, we have some questions from the public. We have some questions right here. Let me check. I have one. Juliana from Tennessee. She asked, Paleo tastes good?
Thank you, Juliana. Paleo tastes great, and there's all kinds of paleo cookbooks, and on my website I have lots of recipes. I have several protein shakes that I recommend because they make great recovery after a vigorous workout or a competition. And boy, you know, it's super yummy because it's avoiding food, but it's not avoiding flavor. So yes, it tastes very, very good.
One more question because we're running out of time.
Okay.
Stephen from Chicago. Reducing inflammation helps to lose weight?
When your body functions better, you will lose weight anyway. The great thing about a paleo diet is that you are never hungry, but you absolutely, when you start to change your lifestyle and your body starts functioning the way it should, it will find its natural place for it to be, which is healthy. Because remember, being thin is part of being healthy, but being thin doesn't mean you're healthy. And we want to do it all the way around with what we eat. Perfect.
Now it's time to get that special offer, 50% off from Eileen.
Yes.
Just go to the web page and just push that button, add to the cart, and you will get 50%, and you will get everything what you need to start to learn how to eat. You will remember this day like a special day of your life. Why? Because now you will start to learn how to eat correctly and how to be happy. Because eating correctly makes you happy. Everybody think then you need to have things in order to be happy. No, being happy helps you to get everything what you want in life. And for me, it's time to tell you the end of the story before we give you the free gift to be in this call. Is the end of the miner story. You remember in Germany that mine fall off, and then the guy was telling everybody for an hour, every hour, there's a warning, it's an hour, it's an hour, it's an hour. When the crew get there, was 3 days after they supposed to survive, like instead to 8 days was 11 days. When they find them, everybody survived except for one. You know why? This guy who has the clock was the only guy who died. Why? Because he was lying to everybody, and instead to say every hour, the warning time, he says every 2 hours. And then the mind was thinking, was believing, was 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, and they survived 3 extra days over the normal average, just with the power of the mind. That's why it's important for me to explain you that story, because it's very important. Now we're going to the special thing. Let's go, and Eileen, we need to get that special gift from you, and go to the front page, a special offer, and you will see in the bottom a box. Just put your email, your name, and click, and in a couple minutes you will get that special gift. It used to be here. We want you to enjoy it. And don't worry, we'll have the repetition of this interview for 48 hours. Please tell your friends, tell everybody, then go and listen again. It will be our pleasure to see you happy and healthy. Eileen, you teach us a lot of wonderful things. I'm so glad that you have all that knowledge and that ability to express your knowledge. It's amazing. Thank you so much for being here. And friends, push that button. And Eileen, thank you so much. And that's all for today. Thank you so much, Eileen. Any words to say bye to the audience?
Well, thank you to all of them for listening. I hope that I've inspired them to at least consider doing this. And like I said, in that package, they'll get a lot of the skills they need to get started. They'll really be ahead of the game. So I'm excited to have offered that. And thank you, Al, so much for what you do as well. Promoting good health as well as conditioning is very unique, and we're lucky to have you too.
Thanks so much, and thank you, everybody. And stay tuned because we'll have more interviews for you. We can help you in everything to achieve your goals. Thank you so much.
Thank you.